Hello again. Okay, try to focus my brain here, because I'm, as usual, doing 5 things at the same time, and also I'm rather tired. I don't really see why, because I've been out in the sun. Also yesterday, I had my fruit juice, so I don't know really. I suppose it's also because of this little guy. I showed you just now my emerald cleansing business with the smudge, with the incense. I guess I'm doing a bit of a check-in here with all that stuff going on, you know. Let's just have a little check-in. Pompidom. The emerald turns out to be a bit more work than I expected. It's not all about me, you know, floating around the countryside with a big smile on my face and nothing going on in my brain. It never is. I always have that projection from myself onto the world. That's what I'm supposed to be. That's what it'll look like. That's what I want. I have no clue. I have no clue. I don't know anything. To quote RuPaul, I am everything and I am nothing. In this case, I think I'm nothing. Anywho, yes, the emerald is. I think it took me half an hour or so in total to actually get to a sense of, okay, this is what I'm supposed to get from this stone. The sort of presence and consciousness and the type of emotion, the type of involvement, the type of I don't know, love for the world, that type of thing, that this can give me is actually quite a bit away from my normal state of mind. I haven't been challenged, I haven't been, you know, pummeled into shape, I haven't, you know, none of it. So there's that. It's not that there's anything wrong with the stone. There isn't really anything wrong with me either. It's just I have to bridge the gap between the two states. Okay, so it takes me some time to do that. I have figured it out by now, and I can tell that it is a bit of work to work with this stone. And whereas I used to have, I wore this one this morning as well. This is my purple, pink, green, blue. I don't know if you can see any of that. Labradorite heart. This one also used to be a lot of work. I'm hoping to catch up some of those beautiful colors right there. I'll just have to see when it, you know, what it looks like on the screen. This is a purple sheen labradorite, and it used to be as much work as the other one. So I'm really, you know, I think I'm making quite nice progress, really. Being tired, yes. I think I have neglected myself a bit, and it's also that I'm not really a wintry person. In the beginning of winter, like October, November, I don't mind so much, but after a while, you know, it just gets to you, the grind, and it's dark and grey and all that stuff. So, yay for the sunshine. It's all going to be quite fine. There's one other element that I thought would be quite cool to share with you guys. I am working with my Steampunk Tarot the whole time. There's my card for the day. The 4 of Swords. So yeah, I guess. This one is a bit of a different story. What I actually tend to do nowadays is I shuffle and riffle a bit and shuffle and so on until I feel like I've mixed it up thoroughly and everything is in a new state compared to yesterday. My deck is right here. It's in a little basket that I made that is on the table, and my Lenormand oracle that I'm also sort of getting to know. This is yesterday's card in the Enchanted Lenormand, is side by side with this. Okay, so I can just get at them easily, and I can pull 2 cards for each day. So maybe I should grab a Lenormand card right now, since we're talking. In the meantime, maybe I can explain a bit about the other 3 cards that are in front of me, and also about the way I pull cards at the moment. It's like I have a sort of half an idea about something, and it's all rather vague, but I just pull a couple of cards, and the cards that come out are just amazing. And that's really what I want to share, basically. That just makes me happy, that I don't know, I get a sense of a flow that I don't really know in my life. So that's really nice. So this is my Lenormand for today, one of the 2 little girl cards. And I read up on them because I don't know Lenormand all that well. So the girl and the 4 of Swords for today. Okay, that makes sense. However, developing from my daily draw business just now, I had a bit of a, I don't know, weird-ish dream, I think it was, where I was dreaming about my father, whom I haven't seen for, I don't know, 20 years or so. I think he's still alive. And there were, you know how dreams can be completely layered and jumbled up and everything is really confusing, and you, from one second to the next, you don't really know what it is that you're looking at. There were like tarot cards, 3 of them, and one of them, the middle one, was closest related to my father personally. And there were 2 others, and they were related to his family, to his ancestor line or something. One card a bit closer by and the other a bit further off. So, and in the dream, it was also like a little graveyard, and there were these 3 graves, and the middle one was his. And he was there, he was just walking around. So, it's not supposed to make any sense like that, you know. However, of course, because of the association with these rectangles, that's it, I think. My mind just made up tarot card, gravestone, that type of thing. And of course, I went last year, not last year, 2017, I mean, I visited my great-grandfather's grave after I'd finally found it on a Jewish graveyard close to Amsterdam. And I hadn't even thought of that this morning, waking up. But also because it wasn't all that specific. And so I just decided, let's just have cards, okay? I just drew out I pulled out my Steampunk Tarot, and I shuffled, etc., like I just said. And I just spread them out over the table, like that, face down. And I tend to go, where's the heat in this pile? Where's the heat in the row of, you know, and there's a point or something that just connects somehow. And quite often recently, it's that there's 1 or 2 or 3, you know, cards close together that are somehow, I can't choose between those cards. That's how it happens for me. So I'm not going like one on this side and one on the other side. Sometimes I do that, but this time I didn't. I just went for that side of the deck, and there were these 4 cards, and I had them upside down still. And I took out 1 card when most on the left was my card for the day. So this one, okay. And then obviously the other 3 cards were immediately sort of, you know, grouped together in with the card of the day. I got my 3 cards for my dream configuration type thing, okay? I wouldn't even bother to talk to you about this, except that the spread that came out was this: the moon for my father, the Queen of Pentacles for the, I think, closer relatives, and the Queen of Cups for the more distant relatives. I mean, 2 queens and the moon in the middle. Oh, exquisitely gorgeous, especially knowing who they are about. I'm all about redress in life. I think that's a a really cool idea in my life, leastways I have tried and fought, because I am a Leo. I believe in honor. You know, I'm a woman, yes, and I believe in honor. Don't ask me how, I just do. I think the whole personal sovereignty business is about also being able to look yourself in the face and go, okay, I did the best I could. I am okay. I am going to be on the level with myself. I can have this sense of integrity. I can have, and from integrity to integration, you know, sometimes I think the powers up there that we can't really see are having us on, because it's like a joke almost. So, considering that my father, whose card this then is, had his moon almost conjunct his lunar apogee and Pluto in Cancer, I suppose he had quite a special perspective. My mother had her moon just a couple of degrees in Leo. She was also a real Taurus, while my dad was an Aries still. Today, Mars has actually moved from Aries to Taurus. He's out of there. And I've checked, he doesn't do retrograde back into Aries. Yeah, thank God. So we're well out of that. Aries is off the, he's doing his thing, moving away from Uranus. And I think we are about 16 minutes of a degree into the 29th degree, for Uranus now. And it'll be a couple more weeks. So I made a little list for myself with all the minutes of the arc for Uranus every day, so I can cross them off. Because I can't wait, like I said before. So it's quite cool that I get this beautiful card. Let me show it you up close. I like my steampunk a lot. I always like the decks that I have, because I got them, so you got to figure out how you like them. And I kind of get that this is, let me see, there's a cat and a dog, and the Cancer animal is actually a machine. For some reason, it works for me. I find this to be really well done or something. I don't know. And it has a sense of integration. Maybe that's it. Because of the machinery, it also integrates the mind field, the mind things that we have constructed for ourselves as human beings and as groups and as a society. So the two queens here, I can immediately associate this one. Even though she would have liked to look like this. My grandmother, his mother, she would have very much liked to be like this, but she was very much a Pentacles girl, I think. And I regret very much that I didn't get to know her better than I did. The Queen of Cups might represent, or, in the way that people are part of representing ideas and structures and emotions and fields of emotion, she might represent what is she then? My great-grandmother? Yes, my great-grandmother on his dad's side. So actually, yes, the wife of the man that we visited the grave of. Yes, it's a bit complicated, and it's complicated to explain in English, especially. For some reason, I like that the cards are really positive, really, they're almost like a brightness and a personal sovereign, yes, personal expression of their content. And the Queen of Cups has a full cup in one hand, and she is holding the other one upside down so that the liquid inside is dripping out. Can you see that? So all this, I suppose, it shows me that they are more related, cups and the moon, of course. Yeah, it's all much more connected. It's very beautifully symmetrical. I like this a lot. And it's, I like it that these days I can have this kind of a dream, and the dream is actually quite chaotic and weird, or sometimes emotional, but in this case it wasn't really emotional at all. It was just, I was just looking at things. And then I can use it. I can put it into practice. I can make things out of that. And it kind of, yeah, it's kind of balanced, which is also what the Four of Swords is telling me. That I've always thought was a fairly pleasant card. I don't resent the Fours that much at all. Maybe the Cups, yeah, slightly. You shouldn't resent cards. I know, I shouldn't. Having said all that, okay, I want to do a couple more things. There's a lot of things that I want to sort of get going in the near future, but not quite yet. And it also depends largely on what type of energy I'm going to have, and when and where and how and so on and so forth. But I'm having to cleanse the mind field constantly. It's like there's a constant, sorry for the rumble, somebody's putting their bin back in the garden out there. Yes, there's a constant, and I think it has to do with my Shakti energy work that I've been doing on and off for the past few weeks now, fairly constantly, because I think what happens is that I get a lot of what you would call toxins, except they're not physical. They're like energy remnants of processes, and they don't just disappear. They don't just fade away or what. I have a lot of like energy trash that keeps coming out of me, and every time I manage to realign my energy, like when I told you about yesterday that I went around the town visiting with my friend. And I had to figure out that I was, letting her get to me in ways that I shouldn't really, and so on and so forth. And not only that, there's all this energy that we exchange, and that we're just, it's a lot of work. And I have to keep reminding myself these days that I have to, not only am I, organizing my own field with these types of stones, and using all of it to, I suppose make myself available for the good things rather than for the less good things. I have a choice nowadays, so I should really sort of align myself with the things I want to do, right? And not just let it all, because that's what happens. It by itself, if I leave it by itself, it'll just compact around me, especially around my head area. And I basically give up on myself. I give up on quality and quantity and, content and everything. And I am very susceptible in those situations to people having opinions about me, or I become vulnerable again, and it is only because the view is obscured. There's too much stuff in between, like dust and gray matter, and if I just cleanse that all out, and burning white sage helps, and all the rest of it, of course it does, but that's only part of the wavelength. I need to meditate. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Thank you very much, all of you, for being here, and welcome new people to my channel. Hi there. And I hope you enjoy listening to me. Obviously you do for some reason. And it may benefit at some point. Bless you, have a great weekend, and see you in the near future. Bye for now.